Although I am involved with CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada, the views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the participants and do not reflect those of CADAC. And now, cue the music.
This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, Andre Brisson.
Hey there, it's Andre here with another short for the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, the podcast for the high-achieving ADHD entrepreneur. This episode is brought to you by CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada. You can get more information and you can donate at www.caddac.ca. This week, we had our first conversation with Julia Waller, who was going through my unique ability, best habits, and kind of reviewing it. And something that popped into my mind was, why did I ended up consulting in engineering? I think for most of us, especially the Gen Xers, we were raised most likely, or a high majority of us were raised by blue-collar people, very union-minded. Find a company that'll take care of you for 30 years, get the pension, retire, then wait to die. That's what I call retirement. I was probably 8 years old when I asked my grandfather that. But anyways, and that's the way I was raised. And when I was at the University of Waterloo, I was doing co-ops. Every 4 months I was at school, then 4 months at work, 4 months at school. So I graduated with 2 years worth of experience. And I decided to try different industries so I can start my life on the right foot. And I avoided consulting for many reasons. Basically, it was because it's all learned biases from the way I was raised. So I decided that at the end, and this is one thing I will like to say I'm really proud of, is I hate being a hypocrite. So I decided for my last work term, I'm going to do consulting work. So I can say I've tried it and I hate it, that I'm no longer a hypocrite because I tried it. So I tried it and I never looked back. And I always wondered why. And then talking with Julia about my best habits, my unique ability, and being entrepreneurial and an abundant mindset, it makes sense that I go into consulting. And then being undiagnosed, it makes a lot of sense along there too. So we have a lot of good foundational book reasons and excuses. And when I worked for big, massive corporations, to me, I found it stifling. And there was no job satisfaction. The politics, being told what I'm doing is the wrong way of doing it, even though I was getting the same results. Being told all the time that I'm doing the job too quickly. I was a student in two different companies. I was a student wanting to learn, to impress. Then I had people working there 20, 30 years saying, you're working too fast. You're making us look bad. I'd still thousands, but anyways. And then you're a junior, be quiet. Seniors and supervisors have all the ideas, and your value means nothing to just because you're new. And that's why I tell here, when people join my engineering company, I want to hear ideas from you because we're set in our ways in the way we see things. When someone comes in with having no idea what's going on, they can bring us out of our doldrums and then see something differently. So, I really fought for that. I work too fast. I see things too fast and easily was another common thing. And then I kind of realized I think I need to be in a small company. But really, I got into consulting because, yes, and I was in a small company. So my first consulting company was small. So being a small company really allowed me to do different things as they wanted to grow. Okay. So it really supported my undiagnosed ADHD. I was able to do what I wanted. And when my boss said, I would like to get into this, but I couldn't do it or figure out how, man, boom, he would let me go. And now it got us into, a $50,000 revenue company a year to 1.2 million, just because I was given that freedom to be me, which was, in a way, I was using my own unique ability very well. But the undiagnosed ADHD helped it. But the undiagnosed ADHD also compromised a lot of my reputation internally or whatnot. And to leave that company, it was nice it was a small company, but once they started wanting to they grew a little bigger and they got more people involved, then my oddity as an ADHD entrepreneurial person with a specialty in engineering, it really, now we start having the usual issue. They start providing restrictions on what I can and can't do, and they didn't want to grow. They were happy where they were and be stagnant, and I had to get out of there. So that's another thing. And it's nice to work in a small company, but once we start getting too many people, the same kind of complication I was having in a big corporation was coming out. So Now I really explained to you why consulting world was very working for me, for my unique ability and ADHD. Now, here's the reality of it. After doing a lot of deep thinking and work with all the therapies, the group therapies I've been doing, the real reason I like consulting, I really have a passion for it because, man, it makes me feel good. It's not because of my abilities, my uniqueness, the way I do things that makes it feel good for consulting, or the fact it's my ADHD. It feels good because it was the first time in my life is where people were paying me for me to solve their problems, and they wanted me back. Okay, so that made me feel needed, appreciated, and most of all, valued. Okay, and when you don't have a lot of that in your life and you start seeing that, that's why I love consulting. That's why I love dealing with certain clients, because getting that appreciation and value and then coming back wanting to spend more money when you're going, hey, dude, why do you keep spending more money? You don't have to do that. But that's what I like it. I get better interaction. I get to interact with people. So having that neediness for connection and being appreciated for the first time in your life, and you don't have a lot of, say, friends and whatnot, or, you know, your social circle was kind of chaotic like mine was because I never believed in myself to maintain and retain friendships. The thing was, these clients, I was starting to mistake it as friendships, my buddies. I can call any night. We can go out and have fun. But in reality, it wasn't. We are a client service provider relationship, and that's it. And when I started to muddle those waters, that's when I started having issues with clients returning because I played in that gray area. And don't get me wrong, I got long-term clients that I think we're friends. We do the odd thing together, but not in the friendshipy thing I was expecting, because these people were nice to me. We must be friends that they must be nice to me. And that had all to do with the fact that something I recently realized is consulting made me feel needed, appreciated, and valued. And when you don't have those feelings for a long time in your life, man, that is really great. But at the same time, our ADHD brain gets very excited. So, oh, new friend. It's like a puppy, right? Just, oh, new person. Oh, we want to be best friends. But then you get the person, stay back for a little bit. Just got to give it time. And that's the thing I learned. I got to give time for these relationships to build organically, not at the pace that I wished, because it's something that's always been missing. So if you're a consultant or a service provider work, what's the real reason why you like that job or why you like to do that type of thing? And to me, it's emotionally based. Everything that we do is affective. There's a reason deep down, probably tied to our childhood, our self-worth, our self-meaning. And for me, yes, my unique ability, my drive, my achieving, my ADHD really made the consulting work for me. But in reality, it came right down to a basic need I didn't feel I had as a child, as I felt needed, appreciated, and valued. And from that, now I understand what my value is by knowing my unique ability, knowing what I do well, and how I do it with my best habits. But at the same time, too, is at the beginning, early days, I really mistook a lot of these client relationships as true friendships. And that kind of hurt me. Wasn't their fault. It was the way I perceived it and ran with it because I didn't have this clarity of myself. So with time, some have turned into good friendships. Some are just a client relationship at a distance that we get together, talk business, and that's it. We all care for each other, but we're just not chummy. We're not friendly, as I probably would have hoped. So I looked up for other places. So I ask you, what is the true reason you like to do what you're doing? And I would ask you to please look at an affective level, feelings, nurturing, whatnot. Thanks again for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by Andre Brisson. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.